Sports Talk. Let's go.
Good morning, everybody. What's up? It's me, your boy Ryan Flowers, aka Clutch Sports Talk, back in the house again. It's football season, and you know what that means. NFL Sunday Wake Up is back for the 2024-2025 season, man. It's been a while. I am glad to be back, man. Football is amongst us. This is the best time of year, especially if you are an adult, or just an adult kid, whatever the case may be. But football Sundays, Saturdays. I mean, we got football from coming out of our ears, man. But we got a great show in store for you guys today. We're going to be breaking down recapping the game from Thursday night between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens. Then we're going to talk about the Eagles and the Packers. And then we're going to jump right into my preview and predictions and then finish up the show with my clutch picks of the week. So you don't want to miss out. Go ahead, pour you up a little drink. I know it's early here on the West Coast, but you East Coasters, you guys should be ready, locked, and loaded. But just sit back and relax and enjoy the show. This is Clutch Sports Talk, NFL Sunday Wake Up with me, Ryan Flowers. You know what to do. Let's go. Good morning, everybody. Welcome in once again. I just got to say this, man. I'm excited. It's been a long time for me. Honestly, I forgot how to do this show, to be honest with you. We may run into some road blocks here, but as the show goes on every week, I'll get better and better again. But I did take a long layoff for those who know me, but I am glad to be back. And once the season starts, I am locked in. Off-season stuff, some other people can pick that up. Me, I like the meat and potatoes of it all. So I am back for Clutch Sports Talk, NFL Sunday Wake Up. And I got a very big news announcement at the end of the show. So make sure you stay tuned for that. We already got some comments here. My boy Patrick Brown, man. Coach Clutch back in the building. My favorite NFL Wake Up show. I appreciate you, man. Thanks a lot. That means a lot coming from you. And check him out too. He's over here on the Gryd Network, producing a lot of great reading material articles, I believe located on the Gryd Network. So if this is your first time in the show, you've never seen the show before, like it. Come on, man. Like it, share it. And make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you go to Clutch Sports Talk on YouTube and make sure you head over to the Gryd Network too. We're building something there, especially with the NFL season back, man. This is when the big dogs come out. I'm not a big dog. I'm pretty humble, but I kind of think I am. Maybe I don't know. We'll see. I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to be there, like my boy All Even podcast and Carving It Up. Those guys are the big dogs here. So I'm just trying to be like them when I grow up. But oddly enough, Bryson's younger than me. But either way, that's neither near or here. So let's just get straight into the show. Let's talk about the Thursday night game, Kansas City Chiefs versus the Baltimore Ravens. Man, what an electric atmosphere that was, and in comparison to the Friday night game, which we'll talk about here in just a second. But that game, man, you can feel the energy. It was palpable coming through that TV, and that's what the NFL wants, man. I was ready to go, man. I was getting ready to put on the helmet in the past. I felt the energy coming out of Arrowhead Stadium, and the matchup was amazing too. You got two teams that are going to be in contention that are more likely probably going to see each other again here towards the end of the year in the playoffs between the Ravens and the Chiefs. And the game did not disappoint, right? 2027, the Chiefs hold on at the end, literally by like a toe, to win that game. But let's start with the Baltimore Ravens side of things, right? Look, Lamar Jackson did what Lamar Jackson always does. He's basically, this is the best way I can describe Lamar Jackson. He is let me take that back. Watching him is like watching a high school player. And some people, oh my God, well, he's a two-time MVP. Relax for a second, okay? What I mean by that is that when I see him play, it's like watching one of the best high school athletes on the field just run around making plays. And that's what he does. And that's his bit, okay? I'm not saying he's not talented, right? And he did that all games Thursday, right? When Ravens needed to play, he'd run around. The guy rushed for over 100 yards, right? On what, 15, 16 carries, something like that, something crazy like that. And he's just, the way he could just elude, get down the field, whatever the case may be. Now, he still can't do what I've always said he couldn't do, is throw the football down the field, which he really didn't do that well anyway, right? A lot of check down throws, a lot of intermediate passes. And listen, people, he is what he is now. He's not going to improve his passing skills down the field. Oh, Ryan, he's a 2-time MVP, and that's great. Okay, and that's cool. But at this point, it doesn't even matter anymore. You got to start winning Super Bowls and not division titles and racking up MVPs. Okay, Dan Marino won a bunch of MVPs, but he's not considered one of the. Or I don't know if he won a bunch. I would assume he won at least one, right? But there's other players out there that have won MVPs but have never won championships. So watching them or watching him, Lamar Jackson, it's just he's fun to watch. I mean, and that's it. That's why I'm going to leave it at that. He's still a fantastic flip player. He's still one of the most electric players to watch in the National Football League. Will I tune in? Yeah, I will tune in. Hell, he's on my fantasy team. I picked him. Why? Because he's going to run around and make plays. That's what he does. Okay. Now, from a team perspective, listen, I think, well, let's just draw back real quick. So the Derrick Henry thing, okay, it looks like he was going to be like a beast in that first drive. You're like, oh my God, they're handing him off the ball. He's going crazy. And then guess what happens? Lamar Jackson pretty much took over with his feet, and then you really hear much from Derrick Henry. I think he finished with like 50-something yards on the ground, which, okay, fine. That's fine, right? And maybe he might be useful down the road, come playoff time when you need both of them. But let's just be real. Lamar Jackson has led this team in rushing since he's been starting quarterback. I think the last time the Baltimore Ravens had another rusher is because Lamar Jackson wasn't playing yet. Okay. So, I mean, statistically, he's going to lead the team in rushing. Now, and the thing with the Derrick Henry is that he is a downhill type of zone type of runner. And it's hard to do that when you're in the shotgun. And guess who likes to play out of the shotgun the most? Your quarterback. And so that doesn't kind of bode well for Derrick Henry. Again, I think there is some underlining optimism there for him. But for the Ravens itself, I think they didn't play well and they were still in that game. So there's some optimism for that, right? They didn't play very well. The defense kind of kept them in it. Lamar kind of made a couple plays here and there, and they still came up short. This team is going to be in the hunt for sure. I mean, there's no doubt about that. They're going to be in contention because they're still a good football team. So I don't want people to think, oh, I'm bagging on the Ravens. No, I'm not bagging on them. They are what they are, and that's the difference people got to understand. Just because you're speaking facts does not mean you're preaching hate. You're just presenting an argument, and the argument is based on facts. And the facts are that Lamar Jackson, traditionally, it looks good in the regular season, and then they falter in the postseason. So like I've always said, I've been on this for the last 2 years. I don't care about their regular season anymore. I don't, because I know they're going to be good in the regular season. That's not what matters to me. What matters to me is in the postseason. And it's an early loss. They're going to be in contention for sure. And the Ravens fans, don't feel bad. You lost to the 2-time defending Super Bowl champs at home in an incredible atmosphere. Simple as that. Nothing else to say about that. Okay. All right. Now let's look at it from the Chiefs' perspective. That offense is going to be stupid. I'm telling you right now. I mean, Xavier Worthy. Now, I was on my boy Bryson Carver's Carving Up podcast on Friday. And he asked me about Xavier Worthy and do I think he's going to and I'm paraphrasing, kind of blow up, or is he just going to take that next step? Here's the thing. His 2 touchdowns, one was like a reverse end around. Okay. And we saw that speed, right? The other thing was it was a busted coverage. Now, don't run out there and start buying your Xavier Worthy Hall of Fame stock. He's still got a long career to go. Okay. However, though, he does bring another type of dimension to this offense that they've been missing the last couple of years, right? He can take the tops off the defense. Why? Because he's fast as hell. Okay. And then Rashee Rice looked really good early on in that game. You still got Travis Kelce. You got some other tight ends there. Juju kind of made an appearance. He dropped the touchdown. Would have been a tough catch. I think Juju's still serviceable in the National Football League in spots, but this team definitely has weapons. And Isaiah Pacheco, oh my God, man. He's honestly, man, one of my favorite players in the National Football League. 7th-round draft pick out of Rutgers. This guy runs the ball hard. He runs like he's got gasoline drenched draws in hell, the way he runs. I mean, he is running fast and he's running hard. Okay. And I love that about him. And he catches the ball out of the backfield, which is a tremendous plus if you're a fantasy holder of this particular player. And their defense, man, it's not a big flashy name defense. They always get consistent pressure, especially with Chris Jones in the middle. Their linebackers, they flow. They're very fluid. Their corners are really solid, especially led by OJ, not OJ, or I think it's OJ McDuffie or McDuffie, I believe is his name. Last name is McDuffie. This is a talented group, and there's no reason, and there's no what's the word? There's no, yeah, I drew a blank. I guess, but basically what I'm trying to say is that there's a reason why this team is going to be picked to win the Super Bowl. I picked them to win the Super Bowl. I picked them to do something to go back to back to back, right? So because they have the talent, they got the tools, and this team, granted they've been known to kind of have parts of their season where it's a little slow, but when it matters, unlike the Ravens, when it matters in the postseason, they get the job done. So, but it was a great game. The atmosphere was tremendous. One of the loudest, if not the loudest place to play in the National Football League in Arrowhead. Those fans really came out to do their thing. And it felt like a playoff / Super Bowl kind of game, the way the pressure built up and the product on the field was pretty good. So we'll leave it at that. All right, we got some comments here really quick before we press forward. All Even Podcast, he said, wake your asses up. Appreciate that. Yes, wake your asses up and subscribe. Appreciate it. Bryson, he says, hey, oh, yay, here we go. Oh, yeah, Dak Prescott, there we go. He says, great to have you back, my guy. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me on Friday. And Barry's talking about he is who he is. I'm not so in regards to Lamar Jackson, which is it. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Yeah. And that's exactly what I'm trying to say is that he is who he is. You can't get mad. It's like when you're married for so long, right? And you're with this person for 10 plus years, whatever the case may be. That person may annoy you, but they are who they are. You chose them. It is what it is. Live with it or move on. And most people just do because you just live with it. Okay. And that's what Lamar Jackson is. He's fantastic. Yes. But is he clutch all the time? No. Is he Patrick Mahomes? No, hell no. Is there a lot of Patrick Mahomes running around? No, because if they were, then other people would have Patrick Mahomes, right? But there isn't. Okay. Patrick says, Action Jackson has no more excuses. He's got to win the Super Bowl. League MVP are fine, but dethroning Kansas City is priority. Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. Very uncharacteristic Ravens defensive game. They're very disciplined, but that was it was tough to overcome. It was, and they almost did, man. We got Chiefs defense is top 5. Spags is a very good defensive. Oh, of course. Oh yeah. Spags is great. And then we got Adam. He says playoffs. What's to say playoffs? Right, exactly. So that's where we are. So all right, let's keep it rolling here. Let's talk about. We went from one electric atmosphere to me, from my perspective, unelectric. And this game was played in Brazil between the Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know, man. This game was weird. I ain't gonna lie, man. I dozed off about a couple times in that game, and if I'm wrong, let me know, or let me know in the comments, or maybe you guys felt that way. But both teams played really sloppy. The penalties on that game, the missed opportunities by the Packers, and we'll talk about Jordan Love here in just a second. The Packers, it seemed like every time I looked up, they were in the red zone, right? They got the fumble that Jalen Hurts had fumbled, I believe, like on the 30-yard line, something crazy like that. And then they got an interception, but they only got like 6 points out of those turnovers. Those got to be touchdowns, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, the Eagles, I mean, Saquon Barkley started off really great, and to be fair, traditionally the Packers defense, the run defense is not great. So he got off on them a little bit, not a little bit, a lot. He got 3 touchdowns. So we'll have to wait and see. I know those Eagles fans are like, go Birds, go Birds. Like, whatever. I was hoping. I had picked the Packers, and the Packers let me down once again for my clutch picks of the week. But either way, it is what it is. But as far as the gameplay from an Eagles perspective, I still don't know about them yet for sure. It was a good win for them, in a neutral site. Jalen Hurts, will the Kellen Moore system really flow? I don't know yet. I guess it felt like a preseason game more so than a regular season game, unlike the Chiefs and Ravens game, right? Even though there were mistakes in that game, but I felt like this game had more of a preseason vibe, right? And so for me, as I was watching the game, it was really hard for me to take notes on like standouts, because I think there's a lot of things that need to be kind of figured out or hashed out in the end. Is the Eagles defense any good? I don't know. I still don't know. I know Vic Fangio is going to turn up the pressure. He's going to blitz a lot, which, they brought pressure to Jordan Love. So that might be a good thing. So I don't know. And as far as the Packers are concerned, they got to clean that up on offense. And it's going to be tough now because your highly paid quarterback is going to be gone 3 to 6 weeks with an MCL injury. And who steps in? I don't even know who the backup is there. Let me know in the comments if you guys know who that is. I don't really know. So the Packers are in trouble, I think. I picked them to go to the Super Bowl. I really think that they had a chance to, but I don't know, man. The way they played, it did not look good. It did not look good. I guess the missed opportunities. I thought they could have put the Eagles away early in that game, and they let them hang around. And it is what it is. Now, as far as the injury is concerned, man, that sucks. Okay, Malik Willis is the backup. I mean, last time we saw Malik Willis, didn't look good in Tennessee, right? So we'll have to wait and see. He had that deer in the headlights, kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So he looked like that kid in the school rehearsal that forgot his lines, and that's not good. And now you're gonna have to step in and play for a team that has a lot of people pick them to win the Super Bowl or have high expectations of this team. So a lot to take away. Now let's talk about the venue in itself, because this to me was the story. Number one, can we stop going to these random countries? Like, Brazilians do not care about American football. And I'm just saying this blindly. I might sound like an ignorant American, but they don't care. They care about soccer or football. Okay. They don't care about our football. They don't. And it was clear. Like, it felt like it was so manufactured. The field conditions were terrible. Again, you listen, for a guy that watches a lot of soccer fields are usually a little wetter. The grass is a little slicker, right? And that's for a good reason. They want the ball to move, et cetera, right? And then you got 6'3", 6'2", 250 plus pound men trying to run and cut. It's not going to work out for them. Okay. Now, I don't know if there's any physiology science behind that, but from an optics perspective, it just seemed like a lot of guys were slipping, and the atmosphere was just weird. I just seen someone made a meme the other day about the NFL going to Iraq and playing a game there, right? So who knows? They might. They're trying to brand this brand globally. But let's stay out of those countries. Let's stay out of Latin America, with the exception of like Mexico or something like that, because we know Mexico, they have a huge fan base, especially regarding to the Raiders, the Cowboys, those types of teams, right? So, but let's stay out of South America. The whole European thing, okay, I can maybe see that a little bit, right? But let's keep the games at home. That matchup would have been a lot better if it was at Lincoln Financial or in Lambeau. That's my perspective. Okay. And for me, I think that's why I fell asleep. There was no juice in that whole arena. But I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments. All right. So, and we do got some comments here. Let's see. Let's take it out here. So Barry says, from all evening, says, what the F does the NFL? Why does the NFL go to places that don't care about American football? Exactly. They don't. Brazilians don't care about that. They don't. They want to see their football, not American football. Okay. Ben, what's up, my guy? He says, did anyone retain Tyreek Hill on their fantasy team? I don't know what that means, but all right. In Brazil, of all places, it is. It's a soccer country, soccer first, maybe. And then after that, then you can get into UFC. And then after that, maybe highlight. I don't know. But American football is nowhere in the top 5 in the consumerism of Brazil, of the Brazilian population. I'll say that. And then he follows up, Packers need to be very upset with the league. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Terrible place to play. And I'm not saying the country's terrible, but I don't think that it didn't really good well. Carvin Up says, Jalen Hurts had 3 turnovers and could easily had 2 or 3 more. Decision-making at the end of last season was questionable. And looks to, yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. I feel like he has regressed. They won the game, but I feel like Eagles fans are going to walk, oh, we won. But it's like, he didn't look great, man. He really did not look great. And that's going to be the thing moving forward. Patrick Brown says Eagles were unimpressive. The verdict is out on Nick Sirianni. The vibes between he and Hurts, they aren't on the same page. Yep, and that's what I talked about a lot. Ben follows up, says Malik Willis. Yep, we got that. Thanks, Ben. Malik Willis isn't it for Green Bay. They should sign Ryan Tannehill because he's got a. Oh yeah, that's an excellent point. Ryan Tannehill or hell, even try to make a trade for like Jameis Winston, even though I can't really stand Jameis Winston. He's kind of a clown. But Ryan Tannehill might be better served than Malik Willis. I'm telling you, Malik Willis looks scared to play in the National Football League, man. He can't throw the football whatsoever. He's undersized. Packers they're in trouble. They're definitely in trouble. And then Patrick follows up and says, when the going gets tough, the Eagles' wings will be clipped. Give it time. All right. I like the puns here in the chat here today. So keep them up. So Packers, man, I had you guys as a Super Bowl pick. I don't even know, man. It's going to be a tough 3 to 6 weeks, and you're hoping it's 3 weeks. You're hoping that you can get him back, Jordan Love, and maybe try to salvage the season. But we will have to wait and see. All right. So there you have it. Let's get straight into some of these games. And let's just break it down, man. So let's first start with the Steelers and Falcons. The big news coming out of this game right now is the playing status of Russell Wilson. Like, as I was getting ready to go live, I saw that there's a possibility that this fool might not even play. Right? He's got some type of lower leg. I think if it's Achilles or calf, something's going on. And he was out there trying to warm up. That really puts a damper in my clutch picks of the week because I had the Steelers winning. But either way, I got to stick with them. Right? Justin Fields might be the starter, or Russell Wilson may go in and they may pull him out. And I'll say this about injuries. Russell Wilson is an older guy. If this thing is lingering, then it's still going to be a problem as the season goes on. Okay. And so he's not a young chicken anymore, and you don't bounce back from certain injuries, especially little soft tissue injuries like that. So my best bet is that Justin Fields is probably going to start today, or at least get some playing time, and then in the future get the starting job. But as far as the game is concerned, I mean, listen, Pittsburgh is underrated, I think, going into this year. And let's think about it. They won 9 games with Kenny Pickett last year. 9 games. That's a lot with Kenny Pickett, who sucks. Okay. Now, I know Russell Wilson didn't set the world on fire either, and neither did Justin Fields from a passing perspective. But I think both of those guys are definitely an upgrade over Kenny Pickett. Now, looking at from a Falcons perspective, everyone is on the Falcons bandwagon, and I think they're going to look different, obviously, right? It's a new era. You got Kirk Cousins as your quarterback, who is still recovering from a torn ACL. Achilles. Is he 100% going into today's game? That's a big question. And on top of that, Atlanta felt that although they're stacked on offense, defensively, they're still kind of lacking. That's why they went ahead and made the trade for Matthew Judon. They go ahead and sign Justin Simmons, right at the end of August. Why? Because they needed to improve that defense a little bit more, right? And that might bode well for them, especially if Russell Wilson gets to start, because he won't be able to be as mobile as he could be, right? Now, most of us in the public itself have the Falcons being really on the come up there, but still a lot of question marks. Now, the reason why I ended up taking the Steelers today is because I feel like they're a little bit more consistent right now. Even though the quarterback play is a question mark for today, I'm still going to ride with the Pittsburgh Steelers to get the road win. Even though they're the underdogs, I'm still going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers to win in my first clutch pick of the week, or game. So there you have it right there. All right, so that's the breakdown for that. Moving on, let's look at a battle of Florida teams, right? Jacksonville and Miami. Jacksonville traveling to Miami. One thing about Miami Dolphins is that they are a fair weather team. In that regard, literally, they are awesome when the temperature is really warm and they're at home. I mean, they're really good. Now, when the later on the season goes, we all see them fade. Don't expect this offense to change quite a bit. You still got Tyreek Hill. You still got Jalen Waddle, Devon Archain, whatever his name is. That team is fast, right? And then you look at Jacksonville's secondary, a little questionable, right? I don't like the matchup between Jalen Waddle and I believe Ronald Darby, who will be guarding him at some point in the game. He's probably going to get cooked a couple times. And I guess, like I said, Jacksonville's secondary is really not that great. And I love Miami's chances at home early in the year. Give me the Dolphins on that one. Moving on, we got the Cardinals and the Bills. Now, this is an interesting game, right? The Cardinals, kind of a new leaf turning over. Kyler Murray is fully healthy. He came off an injury last year, halfway through the season. They bolstered the offensive line by signing Jonah Williams. And guess what? They drafted a young stud wide receiver out of the Ohio State, Marvin Harrison Jr. So this is going to be a very interesting game, because the fact that the Bills lost a lot of talent. They lost a lot of talent. Although I still have the Bills winning the AFC East because I still think that they're the mature team in that division. But this game might be a slobber knocker, right? That's a fun word to say, slobber knocker, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, Bills, I think, will prevail in this game. But however, I think it's going to be low scoring. So if you're betting this game, I would probably bet the under, just because I feel like Arizona is going to use James Connors a lot to kind of equalize the game by taking the air out of the ball, keeping the ball out of Josh Allen's hands. And so I really think it's going to kind of go back and forth. I think it's going to be a fun game, but if I was betting this on the over under, I'd probably take the under on this game. But I do like the Buffalo Bills to win this game. All right, then we got the Titans and Bears. This is an exciting matchup as well too. Caleb Williams gets his first start in the National Football League. You're taking on the Titans, and I think Caleb Williams is probably going to have his way with this defense on the Tennessee Titans today. Right now, from my research, the Tennessee Titans have given up the the fifth highest quarterback rating out of any defense. So if you're playing them, your quarterback's probably gonna have a good day. Okay. And this led to a lot of blowout losses. And this passing attack for the Chicago Bears is, if you look at on paper, man, it's stupid. Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, Cole Kmet, right? I mean, golly, like this is crazy how they were able to land all these guys or keep them right now. And a lot of them have a lot to prove. You got DJ Moore just signed the big deal. Keenan Allen is still looking like he wants to stay in the league, so he's playing for a contract himself. And in Rome, he wants to establish himself as a young top wide receiver in the National Football League. So I like the Bears at home. Tennessee, DeAndre Hopkins, coming off of a torn MCL back in late July. He should get the start today. But I really, really love the Chicago Bears at home to win this game, and actually to cover. So if you want to do the -3.5 that you see there, I think it's bumped up now to maybe 4, but I still expect them to cover. All right, game of the week. Giants versus Vikings. Listen, I don't think a lot of people are expecting anything from both these teams. Giants, we all know their exploits. We saw them on the offseason coverage of Hard Knocks. And then, unfortunately for the Vikings, their young quarterback, JJ McCarthy, goes down. These offenses are probably going to be one of the 2 worst offenses in the league. And that's sad to say, because Justin Jefferson is by far one of the best wide receivers, if not the best wide receivers in the National Football League. The Giants did draft Malik Neighbors, who a lot of people are thinking he's the next coming of the next maybe OBJ, the LSU roots. But it's going to boil down to quarterback play. Daniel Jones, no one has any faith in this guy. Sam Darnold, it depends on who you talk to. A lot of people feel like he sucks, right? I'm on the other end. I think he probably just didn't really get a good situation in his career going to the Jets. He spent some time in Carolina. Then he went to San Francisco, I believe, last year for some backup roles. And now he's going to get the starting job. The good thing for him, he does have Justin Jefferson. But you're playing a team today in the New York Giants, who's their defensive coordinator, has a lot of Bill Belichick type of premise or principles, meaning Bill Belichick loves to take away your best player, right? Whether it's wide receivers, if it's double coverage, bracketing, whatever the case may be. So I expect the Giants to really double team and focus in on Justin Jefferson and make the Vikings beat them with somebody else. Who that is, if it's Jordan Addison, I don't know. TJ Hawkinson is not playing in it. He's out. So, but for whatever reason, I still like the Vikings to win. I feel like their offense might get off a little bit better than the Giants, even though the Giants are at home, I believe. Yeah, the Giants are at home. So we'll see. But I like the Vikings in this game. But again, I would bet the under on this game. I don't think it's going to be high scoring for sure, but I still like the Vikings on this game. All right, Patriots and Bengals. The Bengals are notoriously known for starting slow, right? And even more so this year because Jamar Chase is in the midst of a contract dispute with the organization. Now, he is questionable to play today. I think he will play today now, but will he give his all? I don't know. The brother still got 2 years on his deal, and I don't think he's trying to get hurt for nobody because he's trying to get that money, right? So what's the big thing going on TikTok? Give me my money, right? That's what he's saying, right? And the Bengals are not like, yeah, no. They're like, no, play out your contract. So that's what the Bengals are saying right now. Patriots defense, it's a little underrated, I think, still. This is going to be the heart of this unit. And I like the matchup with Christian Gonzalez, who's coming off an injury himself, against Jamar Chase, because I don't think Jamar Chase is going to be actually motivated to play. Now, I still like the Bengals in the end because they got Joe Burrow. They got the better quarterback. T. Higgins, I think, is going to go. I know he was shown doubtful today on the early injury reports. But talent-wise, the Bengals have the better talent. And that's easy. They have the better talent. New England has a terrible offensive line. That's part of the reason why they probably didn't want to roll out Drake May. And if you're Jacoby Brissett, you're like, oh, gee, thanks. Like, you guys are going to start me with a crappy offensive line. And it's pretty crappy. Okay. I think a couple of my boys and my friends can come out there and probably pass protect better than the line for the for the New England Patriots. But I like the Bengals to win this game at home. So easy one there. Now, this is an interesting one. A lot of you who follow me know I have a fandom for the Houston Texans, right? And great, I get it. CJ Stroud is phenomenal, had a great year last year. Now they're going to have a first place schedule this year, so we'll see how everything works out for them, right? And there might be some regression, but I still think they have the core of what they need. The foundation is set. Now they got a tough one. Now they're on the road heading into Indianapolis, a game that came down to the wire last year to win the AFC South, right? Shane Steichen has a healthy quarterback in Anthony Richardson. Jonathan Taylor looks pretty good still. I love what they've been able to do on the defensive side of things. I love the scheme for Shane Steichen. This is going to be a close game. Now, if I'm betting this game, I'm probably going to take the Colts at plus, right? Because I feel like they can win this game, but if they do lose, it's going to be a close one. It might be a field goal or less in this one. So if I'm betting this game, I'm going to go the +3, or some books had it at +2.5. But I'm going to go the plus side with the Colts in this game because I feel like it's going to be a close game still, and two teams that know each other well. So, but this is, if you have NFL Sunday Ticket or whatever you're using, this is a game you probably, especially in the morning block, outside of the Falcons and Steelers game, this is the game I'm going to kind of be watching closely, just because I really love the matchups here in this particular game. All right. Moving on, Carolina Panthers on the road taking on the New Orleans Saints. This one's going to be ugly. I will say. We got breaking news. Justin Fields is starting. So for you fantasy holders out there that have Najee Harris or the Jalen Warren, I would probably be scrambling right now because Justin Fields is going to carry that ball more than those guys. So just thanks Corey King Brown for putting that out there. Appreciate you for that. All right. So anyway, Saints and Saints, this is going to be ugly. The New Orleans offensive line is terrible. Terrible. Their right tackle, Ryan Ramczyk, out for the season. All right. They're going to be starting. They're going to have to move over to Trevor Penning, who was best last season. And they got a rookie tackle, a left tackle, who played right tackle in college, by the way. So Derek Carr, basically, in essence, is going to be running around. So he's going to be running around a lot. Now, Carolina still has it's formidable. I know people are going to be like, what? Formidable? But hear me out. Now, we know Bryce Young's rookie season was terrible last year. We all know that. It's been well documented. But now they went out and got some offensive linemen. They went out and got, I believe, Robert Hunt, and then I think Damian Lewis, and then they also went and drafted Xavier Legette, and then they went and got Deontay Johnson, who is an upgrade for Adam Thielen last year. So, and I love the coach. I love Dave Canales. Look what he's done for those last two quarterbacks that he's coached. Baker Mayfield had a really solid year last year, and then the year before that, Geno Smith really looked well. He helped Geno Smith get paid. Okay, so I really like that. Honestly, I'm leaning towards the Panthers getting the upset in this game. I really am. Do I think the Carolina Panthers are going to go from worst to first? No. But all indications to me that the New Orleans Saints are in trouble. They're in trouble. And we all know Derek Carr is a little older. He's a little injury prone. One thing I will say about New Orleans is that their defense might be okay. It's a little old in the tooth. But I don't like their matchups, especially in the secondary. With the talent that the Panthers have now, hopefully Bryce Young can deliver the ball effectively, and I think that's why I'm leaning towards the Panthers in this game. So there you have it there. And I like that. I like them straight up to win that game. All right. Let's go. Last couple games here. We got the Las Vegas Raiders on the road heading to LA to take on the Chargers. Now, this game basically highlights two of the worst offensive units last year. Now, a lot of it for the Chargers was because Justin Herbert was hurt. And a lot of it for the Raiders is that they just had terrible quarterback play. But again, it's quarterback play. Now, both these teams averaged under 20.5 points per game last year. So don't expect this to be a barn burner. And the Chargers, and honestly, too, both teams did not really address any offensive concerns. Primarily for the Raiders, the quarterback, Gardner Minshew, is going to get the start. Like, nothing to really get excited about if you're a Raiders fan. And even if they did start the other guy, O'Connell, it's like, okay, who cares, right? And then on the Chargers perspective, you lose Keenan Allen, you lose Austin Eckler, who had been mainstays in this particular offense. Now, if I'm betting this game, I'm probably going to take the Chargers, but I'm also going to bet the under in this game. At 40.5, I don't think this game goes past 35 or 30 points. So I just don't think. But the biggest question is, and the reason why I'm going to go to the Chargers is, number one, they still have Justin Herbert now. But the key to that is that, is he healthy? Will he be able to return and provide that spark? But who is he throwing to? No more Mike Williams. If you're relying on Quentin Johnson, good luck. So I although I like Jim Harbaugh, but I think they're gonna try to run the football, and I think that's why this game is gonna fall to the under, just because the game's gonna go by pretty fast. So, and Raiders fans, listen, you need a quarterback. You definitely need the quarterback. So I do like the Chargers over the Raiders, just because they do have more talent at the quarterback position more than anything, and the head coaching. I know Antonio Pierce is a fan favorite here in Raider Nation where I live, but I don't know if he can outcoach Jim Harbaugh. So there you have it there. All right, moving on. We got the Commanders and Bucks, two units that really have a lack of talent at the corner position. And two quarterbacks that are going to let the ball loose. But, Baker Mayfield is not shy about letting that thing go. And then, if you watch Jalen Daniels back in his day at Arizona State and LSU, he'll let it fly. He'll let it fly for sure. This game, I feel like Jaden Daniels is going to be under pressure a lot. Todd Bowles really loves to pressure these offenses. The Bucks are at home. Yeah, the Bucks are at home. I do like the Bucks to win this game. I think will it be a shootout? I don't think so. I think if anybody's going to shoot out mostly, I'll say this. It could be a shootout. I take that back because the Commanders do have some talent a little bit. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers still got Mike Evans, who's looking really good still. The running back is good. I think in the end they're going to outlast the Commanders. It might be a little tough early on in the game. Commanders might come out a little and bow their necks a little bit, but in the end, I still like the Buccaneers to win this game outright. But for this one, if you're betting the score, you could probably go with the over. I think there's going to be chances for both teams to open up the scoreboard there. So if I would bet the over and under in this game, I'd probably go the over on this one. So, all right. Let's see here. It's kind of out of order a little bit, but that's all right. We'll go LA Rams. This is a Sunday night game versus the Detroit Lions. The Lions have two major advantages in this game. One being the defensive line, and number two, the offensive line. Okay, let's start with the offensive line. The Rams offensive line, it's pretty bad right now. Either guys are either suspended or injured. Where you look at the Lions offensive line, one of the best in the league, if not the best. You look at the defensive line, Aiden Hutchinson, they added Marcus Davenport in the offseason. The Lions are really invested in getting after the quarterback. So, and that's a big advantage. Most people say, the Rams still have talent on the outside in Cooper Kupp and Puka. But here's the thing. If your quarterback isn't upright throwing that football, it don't matter if you got damn near Jerry Rice out there. If he can't deliver that football, that's going to be a problem. Okay. And so for me, that's what it boiled down to. Now, I know these two teams played last year in the wild card round, and it was a close game. The Lions pulled it out. Sean McVay can coach, right? So I see the Rams hanging around, but in the end, I'll take the Lions to win this game just because they're at home. A lot of expectations. Hopefully they can live up to the expectations, unlike the Packers did. But the good thing for them is that they're not playing in freaking Brazil. They're going to be playing at home where they know the terrain. They know what it feels like to play there. So I like the Lions in the Sunday night matchup for tonight. And that's one of my clutch picks of the week. So mark that down. All right. Denver Broncos, Seahawks, Geno Smith. big year for him, right? He's a contract year. He's a kind of an underrated pass thrower, all right, but he has some talent to throw to. You've got Njigba, you got DK Metcalf, you got Tyler Lockett. Run game isn't bad. You got Zach Charbonnet, who had a pretty solid rookie campaign, and you got Kenneth Walker Jr., who looked pretty good, but he gets hurt a lot too. The Broncos defense outside of not Stingley, Surtain, the secondary sucks. I mean, looking at them, it's like, so I really feel like they're going to be able to throw the ball around a little bit. Pass rush really ain't that great either for the Denver Broncos. Bo Nix gets his first start. I think it's going to be harder for him to move the ball on the Seattle defense, but I don't expect him to struggle all game. He's going to have some glimpses because I think Sean Payton will coach him up a little bit and create some opportunities for him. But I do like the Seattle Seahawks in this matchup at home against a rookie quarterback. And I just like the offensive talent overall in the end. All right, big matchup of the day, probably one of the biggest ones of the weekend. Dallas Cowboys on the road taking on the Cleveland Browns. A lot of question marks from the Cowboys' perspective. Offensive line, we don't really know how they're going to fare, right? Lack of depth on the offensive side of things as well. The Cowboys are they were 2.5. It might have changed. Then you look at the Browns. Their defense last year at home was pretty good. They averaged about 19, just under 19.5 or 19.3 yards, points a game in Cleveland. But see, the funny thing is that the Cowboys, they were one of the best offenses on the road last year. So, but CeeDee Lamb coming into camp late, that might be a thing, right? So we'll have to wait and see. Both teams have playmakers. I think it's going to be an under. If I'm betting the score again on this one, probably go with the under. This one was tough because I am bipartial to the Cowboys. I am somewhat of a fan, I guess, of them, right? I've been a little bit reserved on them this offseason, but I really don't like Deshaun Watson either. So if I'm going to bet this game, I'm probably going to go with the Cowboys. It's going to be close. It's, to me, honestly, it should be a pick 'em at this point. It should be a pick 'em, but I'm going to go with the Cowboys on the road to get the win over the Cleveland Browns. But I'm definitely, my clutch pick of the week was the under for this particular game. So we got some comments here. Cooper Rush over Dak Prescott. I don't know about all that, but and Corey, I appreciate you, man. You've been chiming in here in the comment section, so I appreciate you. But I don't know about Cooper Rush over Dak Prescott. So now, is Dak Prescott perfect? No, he's not, but I don't know about all that. Cooper is a good backup, though. All right, and finally, the Monday night game. This is a good one, too. The Jets on the road going to San Francisco not Santa Clara, actually, to take on the 49ers. Good news for the San Francisco 49ers. Your safety, Hufanga, should be back, ready to go. I take that back. He's not good, so that's not good news. And then Trent Williams and Brandon Ayuk, I don't know if they're going to play. We don't know. And especially, I'm not so much caring about Brandon Ayuk. I'm more so care about Trent Williams. If Trent Williams is not in that lineup, that Jets defense is going to get after it. And we all seen how Brock Purdy looks with Trent Williams not being there, right? So that's a big thing. That's definitely a big thing. And I think the Niners, too, are a little bit older in the tooth now. Brandon Debo was a little older. George Kittle, excuse me. This is a big year for Brock Purdy too. And Kyle Shanahan notoriously doesn't really start out well in the beginning of the year. So I like the Jets on the road. The Jets, Jets. I like them to win as long as Aaron Rodgers doesn't tear his Achilles or blow out something in the beginning of the game. If he finishes the game, I think the Jets will win this game. I think they'll be able to run the ball effectively a little bit, and get after it a little bit. So it's going to be a good game, though. But I'll take the Jets on the road, and that's kind of like an upset of the week. So there you have it. That's the breakdown of all of the games. Hopefully you guys listen, man. And here are my clutch picks of the week. For week one, obviously the Packers let me down, those bastards. Steelers going to go with Justin Fields. Come on, Justin. Help me out, brother. And then I got the Lions and I got the under in the Browns and Cowboys game. So there you go. There you go. Take a look at them. Hopefully, you guys, if you're betting, maybe win some money. I still got a couple parlays alive. Packers blew up my one parlay, but I still got some other ones going. So I'm doing okay there still. So, all right. But before we get out of here, man, I appreciate everyone for joining in and getting in the comments. Actually, let me read some comments really quick to see if I missed anything here. I know I missed a bunch of stuff, but so pardon me, but yeah, nothing else really to talk about. But I appreciate everyone in the comments section, man. But I gotta, if you didn't know already, so I do this live show every Sunday before the games, right? But I'm looking to dabble into the midweek or yeah, a daily show, or not daily show, a midday or midweek show, excuse me, a midweek show that kind of will break down the games and do the previews and predictions, so you guys can get ahead of that. And then we'll still don't worry, else NFL Wake Up Sunday Wake Up will still be here. But that show's planning on dropping. I believe I'm probably going to drop it on Wednesdays, so it's a pre-recorded show. So make sure you guys tune into the Gryd Network. It's an exclusive Gryd Network show. But you know what? I will not sing anymore. I will let you guys check out the clip.
We're gonna be here all day, baby. I like this kind of party. I like this kind of party, baby. We're gonna be here.
So there you have it. That's my new show. It's going to be coming out on Wednesday. NFL matchups with me, Ryan Flowers, man. You guys don't want to make sure you miss that out. You know, you want to check that out. Actually, don't miss out on it. You want to check it out. So it's going to be a good show. We're going to break down NFL matchups. We're going to talk about some fantasy stuff too for you guys out there in the fantasy world. We'll break that down a little bit too, just on top of everything, man. But it's on the Gryd Network. So make sure if you have subscribed to the Gryd Network, go there now, subscribe, because once that video drops, you're going to want to watch it, because I'm going to be trying to give you guys a lot of little helpful nuggets if you're going to be betting, if you want to just sound cool at work, in front of your friends, in front of your girl that may be watching more football than you, or whatever the case may be. I'm going to help you guys out, so make sure you guys do that. So, but other than that, man, hey, football is back. I'm excited to be back. It was a great first show. I guess I think I did okay. I mean, it's a lot of rust here. I got to get back in the habit of things. I didn't have a preseason. I kind of went straight into it. But other than that, appreciate you guys for sticking in or hanging in there with me. But enjoy today's games, enjoy Monday's games, and be on the lookout for NFL matchups on Wednesday. I'm going to be dropping that video. So that's all I got, man. Until next time, this is your boy Clutch Sports Talk. NFL Sunday Wake Up with me, Ryan Flowers. Like I always say, never settle till the work is done. We'll see you guys later. Peace.